I'm a bit exhausted after that. Now, you don't force your people who work with you to give up their Facebook pages?
If you know Anthony in Philippines, nothing can happen to you. So,
Okay.
no, we don't.
No, don't. Okay, cool. Now, so tell me about what Homesfy does in India.
So Homesfy is fastest growing tech-led brokerage in India. We are out of 3 cities right now, which is Mumbai, Pune, and Bangalore. And we have over 120 people, as in our agents, and they sell new homes, properties.
Okay.
And we do over 1,200 transactions in a year. And yeah.
So 1,200 sales a year.
Yep.
Okay. So it's quite good numbers when you think about it.
Decent.
Okay, decent numbers. Of with 120 people, how many people are in sales?
Yeah, interesting. So there are 80 plus who are direct sales, feet on street, as we say in India, and rest of them are support. Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at your business, when did it start? How long ago did your business start?
Yeah. So 2013 is when we, a little background, I come from financial services. So in 2011 when I started this company, but it was that time when everybody in India was either wanting to buy real estate or gold. So that's when our customers, I was a wealth manager then, and every customer used to ask, give us something in real estate. So it sort of happened by fluke, and sort of we started selling property. And then one thing led to another, as a startup, when you get that first check of a brokerage, you realize how big this opportunity is. And then from probably 1 unit in 6 months to 1,200 units in a year. That's the journey.
Okay, so that's the journey for the last, 6 years?
6 years.
6 years. Now when you, so the first question is, what inspired you to take this sort of tech-led approach to brokerage? I mean, there's a lot of people doing brokerage in India.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do it, and then what makes you different from those who are operating the market?
Yeah. So I think typically I see everybody dividing presentation in 3 parts. I think it's very important to understand India, because there's a lot of noise around here, and I think it's very important to understand what is happening in India, then what is happening in the sector, and then how does it sort of play out for brokerages like us. So a little long answer. Okay. So I think India is going through a long, it's a transition where a lot of major policy changes have happened in last 2 to 3 years, wherein regulator came in the market. So it's becoming unstructured market. Unstructured market is now becoming structured. Demonetization happened. So now it's no more a cash economy. And third was a GST, which was a tax reform. All this suddenly, moved real estate in one direction. So that's a very big move for real estate. So what it made us do was to have this value chain, which was from lead discovery to closure, make it a tech-led and sort of make sure that we are, our services level are extremely high, and we dominate few regions, because India, 70% of market is out of 7 cities, which is, which does probably 80% of the transactions, so to speak. If you're able to crack even 3 or 4 of them, for example, Bombay itself would be like 2 or 3 South Asian countries put together.
Yes.
That's the kind of market you're talking about. So, so our idea was to dominate the regions and then probably expand regions with our learnings. So, so I was just telling someone in lunch outside, we treat this business like a manufacturing business. We believe that lead cost has to be low. So a lot of innovation and effort goes in that direction. We need to make sure that lead servicing time is to be, for example, we are doing a lot of conversation marketing, so that our lead to action is very fast, and our people. So because we don't face consumers, for us our customers are our agents and developers. So very high level, service orientation towards these 2 parties. So our tech trainings are extremely focused. So for us, it's a very high when we see people growing within the system. Somebody who started with us is now leading a team of 20 people and earning heavy incentives and salaries. So that's how we are leading this business. It's that direction for us.
Okay, so help me understand the business model that you've got. So you have developer listings,
yes,
and you have established homes.
Yes.
developers, are they exclusive?
Not
with you?
all of them. So we are not in exclusive model. So there are a couple of players who are doing that. You need a very high sort of a capex for that. You need a lot of people on board. So, and the productivity is not that high in that model. It's a sort of a bootstrapped business for us. We have just one seed round happen for us, and then we have sort of built up internally. So we are sort of one step behind. You know, we are not exclusive, but we get the terms which are very close to exclusive. Our brokerages are extremely well placed.
Okay, and what percentage do you get, roughly?
So it varies from 4% to 6.5%, 7%.
Okay. And then on the established home sales, I assume India is a non-exclusive market.
Yep.
So how do you determine what you sell and what you don't sell? Because you're really competing with a whole bunch of agents out there to...
Established home as in?
you know, the established home. You're selling an existing home.
Yeah.
Now, that's not exclusive?
No, so we don't only do new homes, only the primary market.
Oh, only new homes?
Only new homes, yeah.
Got that,
Yeah.
okay. So then understand that part of the model. Let's go to the other end of the funnel. Where do you generate your leads?
Yeah. So, like I was telling you that it's very important in our business to keep a track of the cost of the lead. So we have all the sources which are there, you know, we are aligned with them. So whether it is our own portal, whether it is email marketing, SMS marketing, which is allowed in our country,
Yes.
Facebook. So, you know, BTL and ATL events, you know, so we do, so for us, we keep a track of it almost every day. So for us, these are the ratios which need to be always in sync with the business model.
Okay.
So we keep we do a CPO model, which is a cost per opportunity.
Opportunity, not a lead.
We don't track cost of a lead.
Okay.
We track a cost of opportunity because when you deal with a lot of shit data, you
Yeah.
need to track the cost of the opportunity.
Okay, so define what is an opportunity for you guys?
So anybody who is looking for property,
Yep.
has a relevant budget, and an identified location is an opportunity for us.
Right, so you start one step before the lead,
Yeah, one step after the lead.
after the lead.
After the lead, yeah.
So you get the lead, you then qualify them,
Yes, yes.
and then you say, you are a real opportunity for me to convert.
Yes.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, given the level of analytics that you do, what are your best lead channels?
Okay, interesting. So we create a lot of micro pages for the developers. You know, they license us to produce those microsites and micro pages. So those are the best channels if you can sort of market them well, organic and inorganic both. So these are the best quality leads which come to us. So we straight away give it to best of the agents in the system. We have an internal engine which tracks the performance live. So if your performance is moving up on lead to event, which we call event is a meeting or a visit to the site. If your lead to event and event to booking is at a certain ratio, you automatically get more leads with a certain cap.
Okay, so then you take the leads. How do you manage the leads internally? What's the systems and processes? Is it manual? Is it technology driven?
It's all inbuilt. So we have our own ERP, CRM systems, and we build it with, so again, because India is such a huge region, so, you need a lot of customization with, I was telling someone, language and food changes every 20 miles. So even the property buying, methods and means changes. So it's an internal build with a lot of customization. So we track everything internally. We have, we churn out reports in 10, 15 minutes, whatever we want. So I was sitting here and I wanted to track something while I was listening to someone. So it took me 7 minutes to churn out the report.
Okay, so the opportunity, or the lead comes in, you identify it as an opportunity. What are the mechanisms you use to basically get a lead and convert it to an opportunity?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So we have an internal call center wherein we give those leads to them and they call the customers and identify the requirement and then pass it on. Okay. And then we have, what Anthony was mentioning, we also have an internal team which do an instant chat with the customer when the lead comes in. So we have now pages on our sites which they don't have forms. you're not supposed to fill forms. You can straight away chat to anyone at any time of the day.
Okay.
So that's all. So these are some of the modes which we, while we qualify the leads. If we get a lot of junk from somewhere, then we have, sending email outs to qualify them or text messages out, and we send it in a way that we don't disturb the customer. We just sort of expect a yes or no in terms of,
Okay, so you use a series of questions to refine or to identify me.
Yeah.
Become an opportunity. It then goes into your lead management or the opportunity management system.
Opportunity management.
Right, which is then about saying where, basically getting me aligned to a property.
Yeah.
Or properties.
Yes.
And then what's the next step in the process?
Yes. So, basically, we have these teams which are champions in the certain regions. So once you are identified looking for property in a certain region, then according to your profile, it automatically moves to the agents, and then they take it forward from there. And so they sort of show them the properties and move them around. I just want to add that we have recently also started aggregating this model by adding independent agents, which are not our paid employees. In the system, we call this model as a magnet model, wherein so whatever has worked for us, we impanel them in that model, and this gives us instant scale in some of the regions.
Okay, so it's almost like Uberization. When
Yes.
you think about it.
Yes.
They have an app or
Yes.
something, do they?
Yes.
And if a lead comes in,
Yep.
you can send it out to them.
That's right.
How does that work for you? Because I've heard various ways in which the
So
model
it's other
works.
way around. So we don't give lead to them.
Okay.
We get lead from them.
Okay.
So that's how this is another way of cutting the lead cost, So it does multiple benefits to us. One is that if we do higher number of bookings, we get higher payouts. So our direct bookings are 90%, 10% comes from the aggregation model. So even if we give chunk of our earnings to them, our earnings go high because our direct bookings are very high in the whole piece.
Right, just so I'm clear, you do a deal with the developer,
Yes.
and if you get certain number of bookings, you get 3% more,
Yeah.
4%
That's
more,
right.
5%.
Slabs. Yeah,
Right.
these are slabs. So we ask these agents to load the lead on our system. They have a system wherein they can upload the data, they can upload the leads, and so we have these categories. They can upload the data, or they want us to call on them, or they want us to market a remarketing, a campaign on them.
Yes.
So that's how we sort of help them, and we convert that lead into opportunity. And then if they themselves go and service the customer, they get a different payout. If they expect us to service the customer, we give them a lesser payout.
Okay, so I can be an independent agent out there. I've got a couple of buyers
Yes.
that are interested. I load them into the system.
Yes.
You then can market to them.
Yes.
And I could just get a couple of percent for
Yes.
just doing that.
Yes, and another thing which we have tried doing now is that we also take campaign dollars from them. So for example, if you started making a lot of money from me, and certain projects, I tell them that we are looking for a very bigger number in certain project and you can get a very bigger payout. They're also okay to give dollars to us to run campaigns for them. So we are a sort of a digital agency as well for them.
So campaigns for the
For the
independent
agents,
agent.
yeah. So we have built a small engine internally wherein we don't have to run, if there are 10, let's say 100 agents, we don't have to run 100 different campaigns for them. We run one campaign, but that engine distributes the lead, as per the.
Okay. How do you stop an agent? I'm an independent agent getting the telephone directory.
Yeah.
And just uploading it.
Interesting.
Right.
So you need the tracking. So if there is, the ratios are, that's what I say. For us, the improvement journey is improving these ratio every month,
Yes.
or probably every week as a company. So if you keep uploading data to me and I don't get a relevant opportunity out of that data,
Yeah.
I'll stop taking data from you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have to convert it a minimum rate
Yes.
from lead to opportunity.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So you get the opportunity in, you market, someone says, I'm interested in these properties, that buyer lead, so the opportunity's now become a buyer
Yep.
opportunity, I guess, or something that's hot,
Yeah.
that gets pushed out to your sales team.
That's right.
So what happens then?
Yeah. So again, there is another, because the property buying is, certain, in certain regions, the decisions are faster. In certain ticket sizes, they are faster. So that's how we've distributed the team. So then they take the whole journey ahead. They sort of, then there are checks and balances on them as well. And we have our business is multiple P&L businesses. So they're independent owners of the regions and the businesses. And
so
then
okay.
they make sure that if they want the system to work, they will have to have certain level of profitability in the regions. So that's how,
So that's some financial management. How do you manage, though, the performance of the agents?
Okay.
Because the reality is
Yes.
that, if we're both agents, you
Yep.
might perform a lot better than me.
Yeah.
I might take a lot of days off, go
Yeah.
watch the cricket,
Yeah.
do whatever, and not service the customer, which
Correct.
means that an opportunity is then actually
Yeah.
lost.
So for us, the productivity is something which is a very critical KPI or whatever you want to call it. The productivity is something, so in our business, if you want to compete with larger brokerages,
Yes.
your productivity should not fall. So for us, every agent has to do 3 or more bookings every month. So to reach that number, we have a lot of things going. We do a lot of training. We do not as much Anthony does,
No.
but we do a lot of trainings, and we make sure that, and the beauty of the system is, if somebody is not performing with those productivity numbers for a certain time, they churn out automatically.
They are
You know,
terminated, as Anthony would say.
In India, we can't use those words.
Okay. Oh, okay. So they are moved on.
Yeah.
Yes. So I can understand that. And then the sales guy closes out the deal. You get the money from the developer.
Yes.
You then pay them. What percentage?
Yeah. So again, 2 parties are here. One is our own agents, and then these independent agents,
Right.
who we get data and other things. So independent agents get 70% of whatever is the earning, and our direct agents get from 10% minimum to almost as high as 40% of the brokerage.
Right. So 30%. Did you say 30% to the independent agent?
70% to independent agents.
70.
And direct agents get 40%.
Okay.
10 to 40%. Anywhere
Okay.
between.
So if so, let me understand. I'm an independent agent. I bring you some leads.
Yep.
That's closed through the system.
Yep.
What percentage do I get of the final sale?
That's what I told. 70%. If you're the agent who brings, so there are 2.
There's the sale agent and there's the
So
opportunity.
So if you're independent agent, and if you don't service the lead, you can make a choice the moment opportunity
Yes.
gets made.
So
you have to.
If I don't service it,
Then So if you don't service, then you get 60%.
okay.
If you service, then you get 70%. Only
Okay,
10%.
60% no service, 70% for servicing.
Yeah.
Understand that. So if I service it, I'm using your system, so you keep 30%,
Yes.
right? If it's 60% goes one way, but you've got to service it and you have
Yes.
to pay your internal people.
That's right.
How much? 30%?
Yes.
So you keep 10%.
So what we do is there is a system of they achieving certain multiples. So we add that business into their multiples, not that we give them the plain 30% out of that.
Okay.
So their multiples go up. So again, what works for us works for them as well. So they get higher multiple for their direct business because they have done this agent business. So we just add the business into their business, and then the multiples go up.
Okay, and what's the rough split between internally sourced opportunities
Yep.
and externally sourced opportunities?
Oh, interesting. So right now it's around 80-20. 80 is direct,
Okay.
20 is agents, but this business is growing very fast for us. It's a rapid sort of a growth business. We are adding probably 300, 400 agents every month, and with 20-30% active ratio. So this, we believe that this ratio will move to 60-40 in next year.
Right. So you're keeping 20-odd% of the transaction by the
Yes.
time you've paid everyone?
Yes.
Okay. And then,
Again, varies. If you're doing high yield products, then it goes to as high as 35%, but the range is 20-30%. That's
okay.
right, yeah.
So then the question is, when you look at the sales that you're looking after, I'm sorry, can we bring up Slido, please? Just make sure that Slido is brought up, because guys can ask questions. What's the average sale price
Yep.
in your markets?
So it's $100,000, typically.
100,000.
Yep.
Okay.
And there, again, like I told you, there are 7 cities which are, so I've given you average of all the 7
Yeah,
cities
yeah.
and like that. So
Yeah. So it's about 4 to 5% commission. So 4%?
4 to 5%, yeah.
4 to 5. So call it 5% commission. So it's 5,000 check. You're keeping about $1,000 out of
Yep,
every sale.
Yep.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So now we understand sort of the scale and
Yeah.
the challenge and opportunities.
Yeah.
So as you think of growing the business
Yep.
over the next 5 to 10 years,
Yep.
what do you think are the main challenges you're going to face?
Yeah. So I think this, because the scale in this business is function of number of people you can manage. So like I said, for us the value chain is like a factory. I repeat that. And for us, I remember, I'll just sort of connect it to the previous conference, Sean not here today, So we were discussing about the disruptions, and we said that, probably in this business we'll not have one big disruptor, but small disruptions happening in the processes. You remember that conference? So
Yes.
I think I've lived that in my business. Every process has got disrupted every quarter. So for me, the challenge is to keep innovating these value chains, which is like 3 stages. So if I keep if I keep these ratios intact, I think scale is not an issue in India, because what kind of size we are talking about. I was just throwing some numbers. So we are 1.4 billion people, and there is a ratio of around 20-25% urbanization, as in people moving to these 7 cities. So you're talking about some 250 million people moving every year, and family of 4, you need 50 million homes. And we are right now, we have 500,000 unsold homes every year. So this is the gap we are talking about. There are over probably 10 million homes being sold in China with only 1,000 developers. In India, there are 22,000 developers selling only 200,000 homes. So this all shows the kind of opportunity we are sitting on in Indian markets.
Yes.
So you don't have to become a 7, 8, 9, 10% market share player in a brokerage business. Even if you are in your region and among top 4, 5 guys, it's a strong, fundamental, profitable, 100% growth year-on-year business. So like that. So I think the challenge is to increase the capacity. I think if we keep investing in the technology and if we keep the cost low, I think we will be able to. I think the 10x is something which is visible for us in next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. What percentage of your revenue is ads or subscriptions? And if 100% is brokerage, are you a broker or a portal and a tech company?
Okay, so there's no ads or subscription. I don't know if it qualifies as subscription when we take money for the running campaigns.
Okay.
So it's a very straight model. We have you give us the money, we pump in that money in the campaign, and the engine distributes the leads. So there's a lead. Even we have a reports which an agent also gets to see that how much he has paid for every lead, how much he has paid for every opportunity, like that. So so there's no subscription model as such. They straight away do an online transaction. The money comes to our account and we start the campaign like that for them.
Okay.
And we claim that our lead cost is lesser than 99 acres or Magic Bricks in India. These are the leading portals. So if they go to portals and they probably end up paying $5 for a lead, and we generate that lead in $2.5 for them. And
but why do you do that? I mean, it seems to me that you've got a very big, as you said, it's the opportunity is enormous for scale.
Yeah.
And it would seem to me that if you're focusing on constant improvement to this business model, and every quarter you're getting disrupted by someone somewhere along this path, focusing just on that from beginning to end would be, isn't that the complete business? And then suddenly it's sort of what seems to be a detour.
The agent business?
Yes, yeah.
See, like I told you that there are most of these agents are, it's a very, very local business in India.
Yes.
I cannot go and understand each and every locality. And if the moment I go to the secondary side of the business, I need these agents. So I have lead which gets wasted because we can't service them on the second homes, what you call a secondary business. So we are already working on a model wherein these set of guys will become part of our network, and they'll help us doing secondary business as well. So that's the extension of this. And like I told you, in order to increase my commissions with the builders, developers, I need this. Sometimes we are not able to generate a quality lead in a certain project. Then we get cues from these brokers, the lead coming from them. They give us a head start. So these are multiple things which are out there.
Right. So providing them with advertising and marketing services is much about getting them attached to you and loving you.
Yes, that's right. Stickiness. Yeah.
Right. Stickiness. That it is to actually being an ad agency for them.
Yeah. I've not answered the question completely though.
No, it's gone.
Okay.
Okay. How many brokers exist like you in the markets where you operate?
Like us?
Yes. Tech-enabled brokers, I think is the way you described yourself.
Okay. It's a very fragmented, again, but I think I would say in terms of size, doing 1,200 transactions, so brokers who are doing 500 or more transactions in a year would be less than 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So
These are tech-enabled brokerages.
these are tech-enabled brokers, somewhere or other there. But then, I
But
was
isn't every broker a tech-enabled brokerage? It just depends how they use it,
yeah.
right?
No, so I was, I think I've seen this sentiment about India. I'm the only guy probably in this conference this time, and responsibility is on me. I think there's a lot of fearfulness on, India is a very big market, it's too much of clutter, and I think it's little overdone. I think that's something which probably most of the stakeholders in this sector need to understand and understand the market pretty well in that case. So I think it's a new normal for us as well, we becoming structured.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge country, it will not happen in 1 or 2 years. It will take its own 5, 6, 10 year cycle for us, but it has already started,
Yeah. I think a related question is, you describe yourself as a tech-enabled brokerage.
Yeah.
What really makes you different from a traditional brokerage?
Okay. So I have to probably answer again in the value chain, the way we control the value chain,
Right.
the way we keep a check on these metrics, in terms of, that helps us to keep growing, So I think traditional broker would always, give up in these cycles, We have gone through a very difficult cycle in Indian markets. When you are, probably keeping check on these aspects of the business, so that's about it. So our tech budgets are only going high,
Right.
we're investing more and more in smarter tech. So that's about it. Yeah.
Would perhaps a definition that might work is that a tech-enabled brokerage is all about end-to-end management.
Yes.
And that at the end of the day, the salesperson does a very specific job.
Yeah.
In closing.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want them to do.
Yeah.
In a traditional brokerage, it's really around just lead gen, and all the leads end up with the sales guys.
Yeah.
And what happens, it's sort of you don't know.
Yeah.
Would that be a interesting way of thinking about
Yeah,
it?
there is, and even at the sales guy front, how we have empowered that individual in last 5 years was another amazing journey. We used to, for example, we started with Excel sheets, and today, a certain quality lead, if doesn't get serviced, the kind of alarm he gets on the phone is of a different volume. Even if he's sitting in a meeting, we make sure that's how we have created our app, our CRM. So I'm just talking to you about the customization bit.
Yes.
If it's a high quality lead and you have missed this by 15 minutes, we have an alarm which pops up in the phone, and you have to sort of stop everything and at least reply that customer from then and there itself. So there are multiple such things which you keep doing. We have not gone into exclusive marketing section so far. If you go that side of the business, then you need more and more innovation, in terms of how we service these guys. So right now, for us, our customers are the agents. We want to service them to the best of our capability.
And they are contractors or employees of yours?
They're employees.
Okay.
Yeah, as in we call them internal agents. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I like what you're doing. No more questions. Fantastic. Ashish, thank you very much
Thank you so
again
much.
for your business.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much
Bye-bye.
for chatting about it.
Okay.